So if you knew Katie socially, you would know that her free day of the week was Thursday. It was her day of the week without Gavin. And therefore, because she always missed him so much, she wanted to fill her time so the day was more bearable. She would get her nails done, she would go shopping, meet up with friends for drinks or dinner, whatever else needed to get done. She always said, "Oh, the best day will be Thursday, I don't have Gav." Katie's 45-minute eulogy, according to St. Dominic's, was approximately 41 minutes too long. Regrettably, the siblings informed me of this shocking reveal, asking lovingly for an abbreviated version of the original. How can I abbreviate the love that we have for Katie? How can I possibly cut down something that deserves 10 times more? But as usual, living in the land of maybe has shown itself early, even before I get a chance to tell you the story of maybe. It's not lost on me that today is Thursday, Katie's free day. What we all know for sure is that on a Thursday, Katie would much rather be meeting you all at Smoke in the Water rather than a Catholic church in the afternoon. It makes complete sense. It was Katie's doing after all. Now here at Smoke on the Water, I don't have to say HE double hockey sticks for the word hell. The eulogy to my best friend. Hi everyone, my name is Jen. Katie was my best friend. Strike that, she is my best friend. She is your mother. She is your daughter. She is your sister. She is your aunt. She is your niece. She is your cousin. She is your friend. She is your sister-in-law. She is forevermore, to all of us, our brand new angel. She was the best of us. On behalf of the entire Goff family, we would like to thank you all for all of your support over the last 2 years, the outpouring of passionate and most sincere well wishes for Katie, along with all the calls, texts, and prayers and words of strength were felt. I would also like to thank the siblings Angie, Tony, Joey, Gina, and of course our Katie, for trusting me with such an important task. It is my honor to represent you, and I will do my best to share all that made Katie the center of your world. Katie had will, strength, grit, and courage. Throughout her journey, she was brave, fearless, heroic, determined, and one thing was for sure, until that very last breath, she was still hopeful. Katie knew how much she was supported. She knew how much you all loved her, and her family is so very thankful for you loving their Katie. I could talk about Katie for 4 hours, how wonderful she is and what a kind human that she truly was. But I would never be so reckless with your time. Instead, I will speak to you for 240 minutes. Settle in, folks. I'm about to take you on a ride. You're here. It's been a very long 5 days since we've lost Katie. It's been days of trying to wrap your head around why God would take the one person who brought so much joy and love to all that knew her. Such a devastating loss to the physical world, but yet such a beautiful gain to the spiritual world. We are sad that we no longer will get to experience her love, compassion, joy, empathy, care, and genuine love of life, her people and experiences. She was truly joy and love. I myself will be sad because I no longer have that one person who always wanted to do whatever the thing is, whenever you ask. She lit up, experienced the world with the people that she loved. I am sad because there are slightly less than 8 billion people in this world that won't ever get to have felt the Katie experience. Maybe what we can take from this moment is how to walk this world going forward just as Katie did. Greet people with open arms, be truly interested in what they're saying, what they're doing, and how they're really doing. Remember the important dates and the important things. Also, remember the less important dates and the seemingly insignificant things. That was Katie. When you walk out into this world, just be Katie. Instead of trying to make sense of all of it and have me stand up here to remind you of all the things that we will miss about our girl, I think we should have used my remaining 237 minutes to share with all the things that Katie was, and honestly, she still is. I will tell you stories straight from the mouths of the people closest to her. What you're about to hear, intermixed between beautiful, significant, silly, meaningful, and life-altering stories, will be moments where you nod, you agree, and you'll probably think to yourself, yep, that's Katie. You will laugh. You will cry. But one thing is for certain, you will all agree that she was an angel walking among us the whole time. Katie trusted me with a lot of things. So I did my absolute best to make her eulogy something fit for a Katie, which quite honestly was quite a daunting task and possibly won't even be good enough. I believe she's sitting in the front row because Katie always loved the best seats to the show, but she would never ever complain if she had to sit a few rows back. I think during this time, she will bop around just as she did in life, and she'll sit beside you, and she'll sit beside you, but you know what? She'll especially sit beside you. One thing about Katie that you all know is that when she was talking to you, she was talking right through you. It was almost as if you were the only person in the room, even if you weren't. When she asked you questions or wanted to catch up on your life, she was engaged, and there was no way that you couldn't have been. If you were in this world between 1953 and 1994, you remember Romper Room. Remember the Romper Room teacher picked up her magic mirror at the end of the show? Yeah, we had that in Canada too. It was an international version. That magic mirror at the end of the show. Do you remember how it felt to hear your name? I think it's akin to how Katie made people feel when she was connecting with them. I think when you hear Katie say your name, you listened. Romper, bumper, stomper, boo, tell me, do. Magic mirror, please tell me today. Did all my friends have fun today? All my friends had fun at play. I see Butch. I hope you're feeling better, Butch. I see Gavin. Look, there's Gina. I see Joey. I see Tony. I see Angie. Are you having a special day today, Angie? I see Mason. I see Gianna. I see Chase. I see you too. Hey, look, there's Bob. How was your day today, Bob? I see Lisa. I see Christopher. I see Connie. I see Francis. I hope you all had the most special day. See? That felt good. And that was Katie. Katie was generous. Katie was the person who shared whatever she had to whomever needed it. This would be the time in the program to ask if there are any representatives from Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, Paramount Plus, Amazon Prime Video, Peacock, Apple TV, Stars, HBO, HBO Plus Live TV. Yes, Katie shared her login and passwords. No, she didn't care. Because I was one of the primary recipients of such streaming fortune, I was privy to all the passwords that Katie used. They were always the same 3 words, intermingled with each other, a lowercase this, an uppercase that, 2 different typographical symbols, but there was always a through line. Those words were, Gavin is love. Even in the simple and mundane world of passwords, she made it about someone else and love. But you know what? Not just someone else. The love of her life. The person she lived for. The person she felt she needed to live for. Everything was always for Gavin. Gavin's best interests and his happiness was the most important thing in her life. And you know what? It showed. In the last year or so, Katie had one main concern. Gavin needs to be prepared for this world. She was concerned that he wasn't very good at doing laundry, even though she taught him 100 times. She thought, I can't leave him in this world and not have him able to wash dishes the right way. I still need to teach him how to make an actual meal for himself and the people he loves. She wasn't ready to leave this earth because she still had some steadfast rules that he needed to learn about how to be a gentleman, a good boyfriend, and eventually a husband. For goodness sake, she says, he can't even sweep the floor without making it dirtier than it was when he started. In her last days, while sitting with Patrice and I, her one main concern was that he hadn't learned all things on her list. Gavin, it is not lost on me that maybe you didn't master all these things on purpose to keep her here with him. I see you, Gavin. We all see you. With my remaining 236 minutes, I feel it's important to talk about me. Okay, not just me. Katie, Tommy, and I. We were what we quite poetically named ourselves, the KTP. No matter what, dates, nights, concert happenings, comedy shows, hiking, camping, movie nights in, the drive-in, dinners, it was always us three. Katie loves Tommy like a brother. She always said it. Even though he knew, she always reminded him. She would tell me, especially in those last couple years, that Tommy was always the person who would send her a message starting with, "Hey hun, how are you? Sending you a big hug for the day." Or any message really checking in on his Katie girl. This would be almost enough to send a not so secure in her relationship with her man type of girl over the edge. Good thing I'm not the type. What I knew is Tommy met her first. Lucky dog. They were fast friends and had each other's backs, always. When I met Katie, I knew in that moment that we would be friends till the end, and so did she. Her and I always believed that the reason I moved to the States from Canada, the reason I moved to Wisconsin, the reason I met Tommy was to get the real prize, Katie. I knew my purpose, other than to experience friendship with her, was that I would ultimately have a schedule that allowed me to walk hand in hand, step by step with Katie, to near every appointment and to support her fully and completely through the last 2 years. Wild horses could never drive me away. Did I explain what KTP means? Maybe you thought, Katie, Tommy, but what's the P? Well, it's kitchen table polyamory. Now, don't you get it twisted. It's simply a relationship model where partners and their partners' partners are comfortable and encouraged to be friends and to spend time together. The name comes from the idea that everyone involved could gather around a kitchen table, representing a sense of openness, community, and close-knit relationships. That's KTP. 2 years ago, while in St. Augustine for Easter, the KTP solidified their connection on the Lock Bridge, the Locks of Love Bridge. From that day forward, we were committed. Committed to being Katie's forever date. She would never be alone. She would always feel important, and she always had one thing for sure, her KTP. In true Katie fashion for Christmas, I received a KTP heart lock necklace and Tommy the keychain. She's always planning her next gift. I know you all know that about Katie. With my remaining 235 minutes, you will hear the stories that I promised you. I sent the questions to her family. You will hear from her son Gavin, her niece Gianna, her nephews Mason and Nolan, her sisters Angie and Gina, her brother-in-law Chris, her brothers Joey and Tony. To get the best life in review, it's important to go to the source. You go to the people that Katie helped shape and those she affected in her very short lifetime. Shaped and affected, she did. First question. What was Katie's laugh like? Her nephew Mason. Auntie Katie's laugh was infectious. She always had an incredible sense of humor, and she listened so well. Her brother-in-law, Chris. In terms of loudness, Katie's laugh was second only to Joey Goff's, but the two couldn't have been more different. Joey had his unmistakable cackle, while Katie's laugh was sweet, sincere, and full of warmth. It came straight from her gut. Real, unfiltered, and authentically her. She probably laughed more than anyone in the Goff family, and that joy followed her everywhere. She had a natural gift for creating positive, comfortable environment wherever she went. Her nephew, Nolan. She had the sweetest, softest, and most heartfelt laugh. She had a way of making you feel like you were always laughing with her. Isn't that beautiful? Her brother, Joey. Her laugh was silly and sincere, especially when I could get her to snort with laughter. Her niece, Gianna. Her laugh was like the first... Gianna? Her answers? Oh, I love them all, but I tend to... There's this sort of salty, clear discharge that falls from my eyes, and I have to consult a doctor about that. Her laugh was like the first smell of autumn on a crisp breeze in September. There was something so comforting about her laugh that instantly put everyone at ease. Not only was it contagious, but it was like medicine to my heart. Even on her last day, seeing her smile, it put my heart at ease amidst the chaos running through my mind. Next question. What's your favorite memory of Katie? Her sister Gina says, when the siblings did a trip to Las Vegas, Katie and I went shopping. I found a pair of sneakers that I loved so much that I left the store wearing them, despite the fact that they only had the pair that was a half size too small for me. I should have known better. Lo and behold, my feet were screaming within a couple hours of walking up and down the Las Vegas Strip. Katie saw the agony I was in. She sat down on that nearest bench, took her shoes off and said, "Trade me, I mean it, right now," and insisted on switching shoes with me. She literally gave me the shoes off her feet because that's how selfless Katie was, always looking out for her little sister. Her nephew, Mason. My favorite memory of Auntie Katie is when she would pick me and my siblings up from school every day. She always made me smile, especially on the days I wasn't feeling great. She always had the best music playing, and she always wanted to make sure my siblings and I weren't fighting. Her nephew, Nolan. My favorite memories of Aunt Katie are when she babysat Gavin, Mason, Gianna, and I. In the summer, we would do all different activities. My favorite was when we would pack food in a blanket and go to have a picnic together in a local park. Her sister, Angie. Every year, Katie would make me a cake from scratch. No box mix, no pre-made frosting. Everything was always from scratch. It was my favorite gift every single year. She was the absolute best gift giver. We are sure gonna miss our Katie coordinating all the group birthdays and Christmas gifts for the family. Right up to the very end, she was planning what to get for all of our family October birthdays. There are too many memories to say that there's a favorite. My favorite era of memories of my beautiful sister was the years that she spent raising my children. She thought every little moment of their lives was as special as I did. First words, first poop in the toilet, all of it. She was truly a second mom to them. Being around family and the friends that were just like family was the thing that made Katie the happiest. She truly loved to love. Her brother Joey. My favorite memory of Katie was the day she was born. I've never been so excited for anything than the arrival of this new baby sister, who I was given the honor of choosing her name. And yes, the rumor is true, I named her after a girl I had a crush on. I added that. Her niece, Gianna. I have several favorite memories of Aunt Katie. Let me start with the first. Playing on the merry-go-round the day I met Mark. I remember the first time my mom introduced us to her abnormally ginormous friend, Mark. Just like another summer day, Auntie Katie took my brothers and I to Pewaukee Village Park to play and probably climb our favorite pine tree. She explained to us on the way over that our mom was going to meet us there, which was already very abnormal, with her friend. That said, friend was standing 6'7" tall with a football in hand as we pulled into the parking lot. As my brothers became enchanted by the real-life tight end standing in front of us, I immediately made a beeline to the merry-go-round. Not far behind me, Auntie Katie followed in tow, as we've done so many times before. She'd spun me around and around, faster and faster, until my belly hurt from laughing so much. Completely disinterested in the giant that was now playing catch with my brothers, the only thing that mattered to me in that moment was my Auntie Katie. She truly made my world go round. Secondly, when I found out she was pregnant, I remember when Auntie Katie sat me down in the bathroom of my father's house and told me she was having a baby. It was like the world was ending. My entire life flashed before my eyes, and I could have sworn I saw red. I remember sobbing into her arms, terrified at the thought that I wouldn't be her little girl anymore. If I didn't know any better, I would say this was the first real adversity I had in my face in my young life. The only thing that put a pause in my tears that day was her telling me, "It's gonna be a boy." To which I let out an enormous sigh of relief. She assured me over and over and over again that I was always gonna be her special little girl, which was a sentiment I never had to question again from that day on. And finally, back to school shopping. For as long as I can remember my Auntie Katie, I most cherished tradition was our back to school shopping trip in August. This day was always bittersweet. Not just because it meant summer was coming to an end and to a close, but because it meant I would no longer get to hang out with Aunt Katie from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. every day. Only 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. on school nights. However, this feeling of sadness was fleeting and quickly replaced by my greed, as Auntie Katie always made it a point to spoil me on this annual shopping spree of ours. With a mom that was far more into business casual and sporting equipment, I was almost doomed to a life of I Heart Soccer t-shirts and hand-me-downs from my two older brothers. However, Auntie Katie always came to the rescue whenever I needed to feel like a girl. Whether it was my time for a wardrobe refresh, a new mani-pedi for either me or my American Girl doll, Auntie Katie was there to save the day. She spared no expense, even dipping into her own pocket as we surpassed my mother's set budget. From Bath and Body Works to Justice to the candy store, we quite literally shopped until we dropped. It was these outings where Auntie Katie made a point to show me the luxuries of being a girl. Gavin. One of my favorite memories is that we would always go to Nixon Park in Heartland and take annual pictures underneath the same tree every year. Angie. Her relationship with Gianna was the one that just amazed me. They always found time on their busy schedules to have a special time together. Katie did all the girly things that I did not. So funny how these work out. They didn't know what each other wrote. We had a truly perfect tag team parenting approach with Gianna. Her strengths were my weaknesses and vice versa. Next question. How did Katie handle the difficult times? Gina. Here's one that immediately comes to my mind. On my wedding day, I was having a small panic attack about having a bunch of people looking at me and being on stage, a position I have never desired. I was already on edge when a bunch of wedding guests started flooding the bridal room where I was getting ready, trying to say hello before the ceremony. My anxiety went through the roof, and instinctively, Katie could feel it. She flew into protective big sister action and yelled out to everyone, "Get the hell out of this room!" It was the meanest I'd ever seen her be, just because she knew that's what she had to do as my maid of honor. She cleared the room, pulled me into the bathroom, got me to take some deep breaths, wiped off a bit of that streetwalker makeup that hillbilly makeup artist put on my face, and told me I could do this. She's the only person on this planet who could have pulled me out of a runaway bride mode, and she did it without ever asking. Mason. Katie handles everything with grace. She was brave and fearless throughout her entire treatment process and inspired everyone around her with the way she fought against this terrible disease. Brother-in-law Chris. Katie was a pro at handling and navigating difficult times. Everybody, and I mean everybody, turned to her when life got heavy. She was a gentle sponge, absorbing your worries without ever making you feel like a burden. Katie was an incredible listener. She offered thoughtful, honest guidance straight from her heart. She was an impromptu therapist. She never made anything about herself. She was the most selfless person I have ever met. She had a way of making you feel truly seen, heard, and understood. Like your problems actually mattered. Like you mattered. With Katie, even the heaviest moments felt just a little bit lighter. Nolan. Katie was the toughest person I know. Not once did she lose a positive attitude, even through the trials and tribulations she faced with the treatment. She leaned even more into her sweetness for others, making them feel loved in every interaction, even when it was her turn to be helped. She still mustered up the energy to show up for those around her. Angie. How did she handle difficult situations? She would have me handle it. She was such a kind-hearted person, she literally did not know how to be mean. Joey. Katie handled difficult times always with the greatest compassion and sensitivity towards those involved. Katie was incredibly stoic and wise, always providing great advice and comfort to anyone in need. Gavin. She always put a good face on. She fought through the difficult times, no matter what. Next question. Give me 3 words to describe Katie. Nolan. Compassionate, loving, strong. Angie. Thoughtful, strong, love. Joey. Loving, caring, compassionate, thoughtful, stoic, wise. Some people gave more than 3, but I'm the boss, and for Katie, I'll allow it. Gianna, irreplaceable, superhero, selfless, angelic, and vibrant. Gavin, loving, beautiful, and strong. Chris, fun, selfless, and caring. Mason, my second mother. Next question. Did Katie have a nickname for you? Mason. Not for me specifically. She just always called me sweetie or sweetheart. I have been replaying the way she said it in my head constantly for the past 36 hours. I'll never forget her voice. Angie. She always called me sis. Joey. Katie called me big brother, and I called her baby sister. Gavin. She just always called me Gav. Chris. She would jokingly call me Gavin because of my occasional immaturity. She would then remind me that he was over 20 years younger than me. Next question. What was the most important event in Katie's life? Gina says, hands down, becoming a mother. It was her lifelong dream, and she did it better than anyone. Joey says, the birth of Gavin. It's absolutely number 1. Katie has told me on multiple occasions that Gavin is her greatest accomplishment in life and her greatest source of personal pride. Gavin. She loves Christmas and spending time with her loved ones. Giving gifts to people always made her happy, and the time she spent with her family over the holidays made her feel so warm inside. Mason. I remember a family trip where we went to Southern California, where the family rented a house in Fallbrook. This was right after Gavin was born. I talked about the trip with Auntie Katie so many times over the years, and I just remember how happy she was and what an amazing mom she was to Gavin. Auntie Katie just loved being with family, and I think anytime we were all together, she truly cherished every second. Next question. So what made Katie happy? Mason. Katie lit up whenever Gavin was in the room or being discussed. She loves him with all her heart and raised him to be such an incredible young man. I think nothing made her happier than watching her son grow into a strong, intelligent, and kind man. Nolan. Katie loved being around her family and sharing that time together. She loved when all the family was able to make it in and be around each other for the holidays. She loved seeing Gavin blossom into the great young man he has become. Even when Gavin was not around, Auntie Katie and I would reminisce about what a great kid he had become and how proud of him she was. She loved fall time and all the changing colors. She most of all loved making other people happy by taking care of them and making them feel loved with her warmth that she made you feel every time you saw her. She had the biggest hugs and genuine care for what was going on in your life, whether for me it was sports, school, or upcoming things I was excited for. Angie. I was always jealous of Katie's ability to have all these lifelong girlfriends. She truly nurtured her relationships. Once you made it into Katie's heart, you were there forever. She put the work into all her relationships. Gianna. Katie thrived off making her loved ones feel happy. She was only at peace when she knew that those around her were at peace, which rang true until her very last breath. She absolutely loved other people's birthdays, holidays, or any and every chance there was to celebrate. Even when there wasn't anything going on, Katie would find something worth celebrating. She loved giving people gifts and seeing their face light up as they read their extremely thoughtful card. She hand wrote them or unwrapped the beautiful bow she had spent tying the previous night perfectly. Above all else, she leapt at any chance she got to spend time with her loved ones. She prioritized making memories through experiences, which is why there's really no such thing as picking a favorite memory of her. If gift giving wasn't her love language, then quality time definitely was. Gavin. Spending time with her family and loved ones and having fun with the ones she loved the most. Joey. Events and any significant time with her family and friends, especially musical events together. Chris. Well, aside from the obvious Gavin, Katie absolutely loved getting a good deal. I can still picture it at Christmas, me sitting in the passenger seat while she and Gina ran into the store in the freezing cold. She'd come back to the car beaming, saying something like, "Steal of a deal!" And she could instantly feel how proud she was. I could instantly feel how proud she was of her find. That little mannerism may have come from her dad, Bob Goff. Next question. Do you have a funny story having to do with Katie that you can share? Mason. Uncle Joey would always ask Auntie Katie to shave his back for him. I think he thought she was the only one who wasn't grossed out by it. Uncle Joey! She was grossed out by it, but she wanted to make sure you were happy. That's just the person she was. Gavin. Every time that we went to the fair, we would always laugh at all the funny different people that would be walking by. That really brought us joy. Gina. Funny story about Katie? Too soon to mention how a couple weeks ago she accidentally roofied Mom by putting Xanax in the Advil PM bottle? Not too soon. Ask Googie, just ask her. Next question. Katie always made her loved ones feel so special. Do you have a memory or something that she did for you or someone you love? Mason. Every year, Auntie Katie wrote me the most beautiful Christmas cards, telling me how proud she is of me and how much she loved me. These cards always made my Christmas, and I will cherish them forever. Joey. For my 40th birthday, Katie curated this beautiful photo album of my entire life, including letters from all the significant people throughout my life. This project was an incredibly time-consuming labor of love for her, and it will always be my most coveted material possession. Gavin. She would always make the most beautiful cards for people that she loved. Chris. Katie was my partner in crime on that dance floor. Being around so many talented musicians meant there was plenty of chances to get out there. And without fail, Katie and I always found each other. After a couple of drinks and 2 songs in, we'd lock eyes, and that was it. We were dancing. She had this way of making me feel special simply because she wanted to dance with me. There were even times that she'd twirl me, mostly because I'm a terrible dancer, and she knew it. Now that I'm looking back, I'm pretty sure she was playfully toying with me, putting on a show for the amusement of her brothers and sisters. And honestly, I wouldn't trade those moments for anything. Her brother Tony. There are a million examples of this, but I will share just one. Right around 2 years ago, a few months after Katie was diagnosed with this horrible stage 4 illness, she was still able to live her life completely normally. In fact, she was feeling better than she had felt in years. We were working together at Goff's, and she was noticing the immense amount of pressure I was under related to some work and life things. Certainly, nothing as stressful as being diagnosed with a terminal illness, but rather some usual life stress. One Monday morning, I arrived at my desk to find a beautiful blue self-care gift basket with a Positive Vibes coffee mug, some little gifts, a gift certificate to a spa that she and I had talked about in the past, and the most beautiful thinking of you card. All of this was for no particular reason other than to let me know that she was thinking of me. That I needed to take a deep breath and enjoy the life I had been blessed with. Katie was always doing special things for no special reason. It's just the way she was. She was truly an angel on this earth. Next question. Is there a lesson that Katie taught you? Mason. Katie taught me kindness. She raised my siblings and me to be kind, compassionate, and loving people who care for others and empathize with those around them. Katie taught me so many things I could list them for days, but above all else, she taught me how to be kind. Chris. She taught me not to settle when it comes to service or quality. Katie never did. She always had something to return or a phone call to make to get a rightful refund when the service wasn't up to par. She was incredibly generous and accommodating, but when it came to bad service, she didn't hesitate to speak up. She'd let you know, and she was usually right. Joey. The lesson she taught me was to never pass up an opportunity to tell someone that you love them. Gianna. For a very long time, I resented the fact I was born a girl. Through line here. And I couldn't keep up with my nasty older brothers. However, Auntie Katie was the one who showed me the luxuries of being a girl and made me feel confident in my own skin. No matter what, she made me feel beautiful and cherished, never letting me forget that I was her special girl. Auntie Katie also taught me how to appreciate the finer things in life, as corny as that may sound. She had this ability to find hidden gems in the neatest of places, whether this was at the pumpkin patch in the middle of Ixonia or a Christmas market out in Cedarburg. No matter what life threw at her, she always found something to look forward to. Although she had a million reasons to be, she never grew angry with this world. Her only wish was to enjoy every moment that she could and take advantage of all the life she had to offer. We are now winding down with the one question that could sum up all of Katie's life, the legacy she left and all that she did for this world in the time she was here. So what made Katie the most special human on the planet? Chris. Katie was an incredible listener with a memory that never missed the moments that mattered. She had this beautiful ability to recall special days and little details that could light up an entire room. People naturally gravitated towards her when life felt heavy. She always made space for their worries and gently guided them towards a better emotional place. She didn't just listen, she cared in a way that made you feel understood and supported. Mason. Auntie Katie was the kindest soul I've ever met. The family is filled with I'll repeat this isn't church, but I'm going to say it again. The family is filled with abrasive, strong-minded, stubborn individuals whom I love dearly, but they can be a nightmare to deal with. Katie was always the opposite. She always made sure that everyone was heard. She always made sure that the family stuck together. And she always made sure that everyone felt loved, all the time. Auntie Katie was a constant source of comfort for anyone and everyone. And I always thought that she was going to be the matriarch of this family after Nana. Auntie Katie has a unique gift of unifying everyone around her, and the way she loved unconditionally is the memory that I will have of her for the rest of my life. Nolan. The thing that made Katie the most special person in the world is that even through all the unfair punishment and struggle this disease brought upon her, she never changed from that sweet and compassionate nature. Every time I saw her, she was excited to be able to hear what I had going on in my life, and she genuinely cared even when she was in the midst of a battle. No different from the way she raised me and my siblings, where she always reminded me to take care of others and treat them with love and respect. That is what will always stick with me. It is how Katie made you feel special and loved. If everyone had even a touch of the compassion and grace Katie had in them, the world would be a better place. Gavin. The way my mom cared for people unconditionally. Gianna. Her uncanny ability to make every single person in our life feel like they were special and the most important person to her. Sometimes I feel guilty for being recognized as Katie's honorary daughter because I know how many other people in her life deserve the same level of recognition for their own individual relationship with Auntie Katie. Some way, somehow, she touched every single person in such a profound way. Unlike anyone I've ever encountered, it's almost like she had an endless supply of love and she showered everyone with it. She was like my own personal ray of sunshine. She had this undeniable light about her that was enthralling. Through my eyes, my Auntie Katie had no flaws, only beautiful quirks. She will forever be the most incredible person that lived, and is probably the MVP up in heaven right now. Although we didn't get our fairy tale ending, she will always be the superhero in my story, and it is one that I will tell for generations to come. I just hope to one day be for my daughter what my Auntie Katie was for me. And finally, Joey. What makes my little sister the best human on this planet? All the above, which all comes back to one simple thing: love. Now I'm sure all these stories you've heard are no surprise. You probably think very much the same and would have answered in just as special of a way if you had been asked. When you joined the Goff family today to celebrate their life with their angel Katie, you passed a table that included note cards and markers. If you already haven't, please take a moment back by the coffee table up on the ledge to leave a message for the family that they can read whenever the opportunity or the strength presents itself. You can answer any of the questions that Katie's loved ones have put so much thought into, or simply a message of your own. Katie has already begun to give a bunch of signs that she is at peace, resting easy, and above all else, watching over each and every one of us. She took a bit, because in true Katie fashion, she had a lot of catching up to do with those that she'd already lost. She's got a lot of work to do from up there. We depend on her. If you followed the Caring Bridge over the last couple years, you may remember the story of Maybe. This story was one that resonated with Katie the most. So much that her and her group of close friends all got the word maybe tattooed on themselves because she loved it so much. I'll share it with you. And maybe it can sit in the back of your mind to be used at just the right moment. Once upon a time, a widowed Chinese farmer and his only son worked tirelessly through the cold winds of winter and a hot blaze of summer with just one horse. One day, the son left the stable gate unsecured and the horse bolted away. Upon hearing the news, the neighbors visited the farmer, lamenting, "What misfortune! Without the horse, you can't tend to the farm. Such a horrible mistake by your son, not to secure that gate. What a tragedy!" The farmer simply said, "Maybe." The following day, the lost horse returned to the farmer's stable, leading 6 wild horses with it. The farmer's son ensured the gate was securely locked after all 7 horses were inside. When the neighbors heard of this, they approached the farmer, exclaiming, "What good fortune this is! With 7 horses, you can work the farm and sell the surplus for a tidy profit. What good luck!" The farmer responded, "Well, maybe." On the next day, as the farmer's son attempted to tame one of those wild horses, he was thrown off, landing on rocks and breaking his leg. Learning of this incident, the neighbors came to the farmer expressing sorrow. "What a tragedy. Now you're unable to count on your son's help. He failed to break in that horse properly. What a disaster. Such bad luck." The farmer answered, "Perhaps it is, perhaps it isn't." The day after, an imperial Chinese army general arrived to draft all the villagers' young men into the army for a battle against a terrifying enemy. Due to his broken leg, the farmer's son was exempt. When the neighbors found out, they told the farmer, "What a stroke of luck! Your son has been spared from certain demise in the battle. What a blessing!" The farmer said, "Maybe." See, whether you see this fable as the essence of the Taoist thought, which emphasizes balance, natural order, and interconnectedness of all the things, and teaches us to embrace uncertainty and to remain open to the myriad possibilities that life presents, or following the thought of Greek philosopher, that there are things that are within our power and things that are beyond our power, or the serenity prayer. God grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Either way, the message is still the same. It is better not to assign good or bad to any situation, because what's on the other side is just simply unknown. Grief is like an ocean. It comes on waves ebbing and flowing. Sometimes the water is calm, and sometimes it's overwhelming. All we can do is learn to swim. We all clearly love to talk about Katie, so if we cry, it's only a beautiful thing. It's just all the unexpressed love that we still have left to share. Everyone here knows that she was the best of us.
Yeah.